Hey everyone, and thank you for joining again. In this video I will show you how you can make this beautiful lemon slice bag, which is perfect for summer. It has a zipper here on top, and we will make a little bag charm with leaves. The bag starts with a magic ring, where we make 5 single crochet. So this first stitch doesn't count, and now we make 5 single crochet. If you would like to see a detailed video for the magic ring, please check out my little crochet school for beginner. So when the magic ring builds this half circle, it's correct. At the end of each row, we chain 1 for the turn. Now, in the first row, we double all the stitches of the magic ring. That means we make 2 single crochet in every stitch of the magic ring. So that increases our stitch count to 10. The last stitch might be a little difficult to reach, but it will be better in the next rows. And these are the last 2 single crochets. This is our half circle. As I said, we always chain 1 for the turn. And now we will make 1 single crochet and then a doubled single crochet in the next stitch. And we do that in turn for the whole row. So in detail, 1 normal single crochet, then a doubled single crochet, which means we make 2 single crochet in the same loop. Normal single crochet, double single crochet. Then again a normal single crochet, and again a double single crochet, 1 and 2 single crochet in the same loop. Now you go on like this until the end of the row. This is how your half circle should look like. again chain 1 for the turn. Now we make 2 normal single crochet before we double. So in detail, first single crochet, second single crochet, and now double single crochet, which means we make 2 single crochet in the same loop. And this is basically our scheme for the whole bag, that we always add 1 single crochet before we make a double single crochet. So in every row where we make an increase, we will add 1 single crochet before we double. Every now and then you will notice that the stitches become too squeezed together, and if this happens, we work 1 row 1 on 1. So just work 1 single crochet in each of these stitches here. And don't make an increase in these rows. So summarize, that means we started with a magic ring, then doubled all the stitches in row 1, and from then on we always added 1 single crochet before we doubled the single crochets. You repeat that until you have 16 single crochet in row 23. That makes a total stitch count of 90, but you don't increase in the rows shown here. So 6 rows where we do not increase. And you can make a little screenshot here. I leave it a little longer. This is the basic scheme. So, and after you made that, this is how your bag should look like. And we will now work along the edge of our bag to straighten it. I already made my chain here, and we will now poke in this upper loop here. And make a single crochet. Then poke in this lower loop here. Make a single crochet there. Then poke in the upper loop. If you notice that these loops are too tight, then you can use a smaller hook size. Make a single crochet, then the slower loop again, and then you just go on like this, always working in these upper and lower loops on the edge of the bag. This one, then the lower one, upper one, lower one, upper one, and so on. Then you make 2 single crochet in the middle of the magic ring. Well, these are then 2 single crochet here, and then go on in this loop. And on the other side it looks the same again like on the first side. And we meet again on the left corner. So I already cut the thread here, and we will now end with a fake stitch, which means I use my darning needle now. You can always also use the crochet hook for it. You poke in below this stitch here, below both loops, pull the thread through, and then bring it back to the middle of the current stitch. This one here. And it looks like a normal single crochet, which is why I call it fake stitch. And then you can just sew the thread in. Now have a look at the magic ring. The 2 sides of it look very different, and the side where you can see these tight loops here is the side that is our right side. And now you look for this row here and these little horizontal loops. This is where we start our surface crochet with the white thread. You poke in this area next to the horizontal loop. Take the white thread and pull a loop to the front. This is how it should look like. And now we surface crochet along these horizontal loops, which means you now poke in on the other side of this loop, yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook. Poke in again on the next side of the horizontal loop, yarn over, pull it through. So we are basically making slip stitches through the bag. And these horizontal loops always show you where you have to poke in. When the row of surface crochet is finished, you cut the thread, pull it through, and then pull the loose end through the last loop you worked in. This is how it should look like. And on the other side you can make a knot and melt the yarn so that it doesn't open again. Now you look for the last row of horizontal loops, this one here, and do the same in this row. This row is a little longer, of course, but you go all along here and surface crochet over the horizontal loops. Make the start together, a few stitches. So pull a loop to the front, poke in again, yarn over, and slip stitch. Poke in the next hole, slip stitch, poke in the next, and so on. And this is how your bag should look like when the row is finished. Now for the little, I don't know how you call them, the little separations maybe that you see in a lemon slice. The corners of our bag will show us how wide they have to be. So in the areas where you increased, you can see these little corners here. And to make the separations, we do the following. We poke in the same loop like the row that we just made. First one can be a little tricky, but it does work. So the same loop like we started the row in. And now you again slip stitch in the same loops that we used for the first row, until you reach the first corner. So the stitches will be placed next to each other, and you just poke in the same loops like the first stitches, and surface crochet a second row. And you go on until you reach the corner here. For me it varied between 15 to 16 slip stitches. So these are 15 slip stitches. The next separation was 16, so it varied for me. Now we will work up to the first surface crochet row that we made, and now this is kind of try and error, which loop gives you the best result. So I personally made a few slip stitches and checked if it looks good, and if not, I opened them up again and corrected the direction. So here I unfortunately can't tell you which loops to use exactly, but it's just try and error. In this way you work up the whole way until you reach our first surface crochet row, and here again you poke in the same loops like the first row. The number of stitches that you have to make here can also vary. And then you go back by poking in below the row that we made at the edge of the bag. And this is how the first separation looks like. Now the second separation starts in the same loop like the first one, then goes to the edge again. As I said, it varies between 15 and 16 slip stitches. Then you work up here, work along our first row, and then the stitches here also share the same loops. So this is how it then looks like. You always have these double surface crochet rows here. Then you work along this side, and then this shares the same loops again. And this is what you basically do for all the separations of your slice. When you're finished, this is how the slices should look like. And I finished the small sides and bottom. Therefore, I made 10 chains, which leads to 9 single crochets per row, and I needed 96 rows. Then I already made my chain here. And now as you can see, I already sew on plastic canvas to the main sides. And then you check for the corner loop. And then we slip stitch the parts together. That means we poke in the lower loop of the corner loop, and then in this loop here of the side part. You have 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull the thread through all of these loops. Then poke in again in the lower loop of the main part, then on this in the side loop here of the small part, yarn over and pull through all of them. Then again, poke in. So a little close up, this loop and this loop, then this loop and this lower loop here, this loop and this one, and so on. And this is what you do all around the bag. And this is how it should look like. The side part ends at the corners of the main part. Then I cut the thread here a little longer, pull it through, and we'll use it to fix the D-rings. Now it might be, since we work in different tangents, that you will notice that the side part doesn't end at the corner of the main part. If this is the case for you, please open it up again and add or remove some rows on the small side part. So, as I said, for me 96 rows were needed, and but since we work in different tangents, it might be different for you. So please double check that. And yeah. Now the second side will be fixed in the very same way. So you pull a loop, then you poke in the main part. So you can see I struggled a little because I didn't fix the loose part of the thread. But except of that, you do the very same. So I pulled a loop, poked in the main part, poked in the side part, have now 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through all of them. Only thing why it looks a little chaotic here is that I didn't fix the loose end of my thread. Then poke in the main part again, poke in the side part, yarn over, pull through all loops on your hook, and in this way you will fix the second side. So it's basically the very same like we did on the first side. And this is just a little hint. If you don't want to struggle like I struggled in the previous clip, then you can use such a document clip here to fix the loose end. Now, in the end, when you finish that, this is how our bag should look like. And as I said, I cut the thread a little longer and used it to fix the D-rings with a few stitches, and then weaved in the thread and repeated that on the other side as well. So this is our bag so far. Now we will create the frame for the zipper. I already made 10 chain stitches here, which led to 9 single crochet per row and worked 4 rows. Now we make a chain and work rows with 3 single crochet. 1, 2 and 3, chain, turn, and now go back and forth with 3 single crochet. In total, you make 40 rows on this side. Then you attach the thread again. In stitch 3, counted from the left side, and then again work in rows of 3 single crochet. And on this side you make 41 rows. So on the first side we made, there are 40 rows, and on the second side here 41 rows. Then this is how it should look like. 40 rows on this side, 41 rows on that side. To connect the both sides, we will now make 3 chains. And then just go on the other side and make 3 single crochet there. And now you will work 4 rows single crochet. Four rows with 9 single crochet each, so that we have the same like on the other side. Afterwards, I cut a long part of the thread because I will use it to sew this zipper in the end, and this is how it should look like then. Before we can sew on the zipper, we will have to attach the zipper slider. Therefore, make sure that the teeth of the zipper direct in the direction you would like to pull the zipper on. Then open it a little bit, and now you cut away the teeth of the zipper on one side, so that you have only the fabric on this side. Then place the zipper slider on the first side. Then place the teeth from the second side in it. And while you hold the both fabrics, you can just pull the zipper slider in. The teeth has to be placed properly in the slider. Then you hold the fabric and just pull it in like this. Afterwards, you place the zipper frame on it, and I like to fix it with these document clips and then sew it on with transparent yarn. Then, when this is finished, we will have to sew the zipper to the main part. There's no specific way how you have to poke in. Just find a loop at the edge and then poke in there. By the way, if you would like to sew a lining for your bag, you should do that before you fix the zipper, because in the end you won't be able to reach the inside of your bag so well, at least not to sew on a lining. You can of course reach the inside of your bag. So what I'm doing here, I just poked in through the bag. Now go back and poke in the zipper part, pull the thread through, then poke in the main part of the bag again, poke in through the back again, and this is what you do all around the zipper. Then we make our little back charm. Therefore we make 13 chain stitches. Then starting in the second chain from the hook, we make a single crochet, a half double crochet, then a double crochet, then we make 6 treble crochet, then we make a double crochet again, a half double crochet, and in the last chain we make 3 single crochet, 1, 2 and 3, and with the last one we reach the lower side of the foundation chain, and we will now basically repeat and mirror what we made on the first side. So now there comes a half double crochet, then a double crochet, then 6 treble crochet, and after you finish these 6 treble crochet, you finish the leaf with a double crochet, half double crochet and single crochet. Then I just repeated the leaves twice and sew them on to the little snap hook. And that's it. Your bag is finished now. If you liked the tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.